Talking with Judy Martin from Thompson Adset. Hi Judy, how are you?
Good, Mark. Yeah, thank you.
Judy, SAGE Tours, tell me about it. You've organised a couple of them, you've been on a few, it's always been terribly exciting, and you've just come back from one.
We have, Mark, and they're not all fun.
They're not all fun?
They're not all fun. They are work. What SAGE is, it's an industry initiative that has been put together with the support of the two peak industry bodies, and we organise them as part of Thompson Adset's sponsorship to the industry. We take senior executives and managers overseas to look at best practice and benchmarking and international trends that we can come home and put into the Australian context. So it's not just about actually going overseas and learning, it's about going overseas and establishing resources and links. Funnily enough though, one of the things that's come out of it is the feedback from the CEOs who've come is said they've had 10 days on a bus with nothing to think about, not distracted, sitting next to another CEO where they can talk about our own industry politics or how have you solved a HR problem. So they said the dedicated time to actually focus on the industry they work in but without the everyday distraction was probably one of the benefits that we didn't see. It's come along as a sideline of the sitting together with colleagues on a bus, learning together, and more often than not we've established a social program for SAGE, but we have people on nights off, but more often than not what has happened is everyone's decided to collaboratively get together for dinner and the conversation's flowed on from the day and from the learning activity over into dinner. So in a more relaxed environment, people are still talking about what did you think of that initiative or how could we relate that policy back to Australia. And one of the important things I think is aiming at it, CEOs and senior executives, has established us a market or an opening in the country we're visiting to be able to approach their senior ministries of health or their senior industry partners to say we are bringing a bus of CEOs. And the absolute positive side of that is when we've gone to a facility now, the SAGE brand is recognised and we're meeting the CEOs. Our first tour we were perhaps meeting the manager on site, but we want to talk about policy. But now what organisations are doing is getting their CEO to come off site for the day and meeting us and joining us on the bus and discussing the initiative.
So Judy, how many have you done?
We have done 5.
Getting stronger and stronger all the time.
Stronger and stronger. And you know what's happened, Mark? What's happened is every trip we've learned something. We have a really robust evaluation system that goes back through an online survey, which is completely anonymous, so people have the right and feel very comfortable in giving their feedback.
And next year, where are we going?
Next year is a very interesting year. We're going to China and Hong Kong.
Wow.
People are saying, what have we got to learn from China? Interestingly enough, the first SAGE tour ever, we went to China. We went there because we had a link. So it was, oh yes, we've got a contact, let's go to China. And we almost went a little bit piously. We didn't think that at the time, but when we got there, all of us on the bus said we had all thought, what were we going to learn from China? We actually came back very, very humbled, because the Chinese as a culture, their attention to caring in the community as opposed to community care. But caring for their elders in the community and taking on board as a community was a very vast learning experience for us. So when we've been to London, we've been to America, so we wanted something a little bit diverse again. Because we've been to China, it was so successful, but it was the first one. So it didn't really have the interest then. We decided to go back. But what we're going to do now is have a segment of that trip via Hong Kong, where there are integrated facilities that Thompson Adset have been involved in. But the Hong Kong Housing Society have offered to host us to do a seminar on ageing in the Australasian region, and then we'll be able to throw that in with a facility visit tour to the integrated 28-storey.
Wow.
A lot more Australians now starting to look at how we're going to build in a city. So
lots of learnings there, I'm sure. Big
attraction, and people are querying it, and then when we're explaining it, they're going, oh my God. But
what time of year, Judy?
July. It was July, and we've picked that for the weather. We're going to Beijing, so it is the start of summer. We're then going to New Zealand, after the AXA conference in Hobart. We're hoping what is also come out of SAGE is we're now bringing an inbound tour from America through us, and we've been approached by both peak industry bodies to say we need an IT one. I think a good time to have an IT one would be, well, certainly a good place to an IT one would be East Coast America. With CAST is established over there.
So do you want some feedback from the industry about the demand level for that?
Absolutely want the demand level, and also what aspect of it you want to look for, because we can tailor all that. We now have the contacts to make it happen, and we have very good contacts. And if we say with SAGE, the industry associations in other countries do respond rather quickly. So if I was able to send an email saying, I'd like to bring an IT group, where would you recommend we go? They do respond. And so if we could have, you're right, interest from Australian on who wants to go, how many we could get to go, we can pull a trip together fairly quickly. We've got a formula now. We know how we plan it, we know how it works, so absolutely, if there's the IT sector can get behind this, it would be great to do an IT one.
Judy, thank you for taking the time. I know you've got to go to the stage, to the podium. It's been fascinating talking with you, as always. Thank you very much.
Next interview will be reporting on the tour.